Hello, hi. Welcome to the third. Is it the third? I always forget
It's the
because you
third.
changed it so much.
I
Welcome
do.
to the third edition, I guess, of SunnySide stream. Welcome everybody. Joining me as always is Sydney. It's a little bit weird that I'm on the left side because I'm pointing like
You did it. I didn't set it up.
true, that's fair.
Not
And
my
my
fault.
camera's on a bit of a slant, so you can't see the all the mess behind me. But yeah, hello, welcome to this stream. This time, we decided to kind of like roll things back because I feel like in the previous streams we've been all over the place. So Sydney suggested that why don't we just talk about the very, you know, base thing in this game that really kind of made it, and that's farming. So today we're gonna be talking all about farming and what probably most of you supported this game for, to be honest. Yeah.
I love how you blame it on me.
I don't know. I'm saying you did good.
Sid wanted to talk about
Talk about
farming today.
farming.
It's her fault.
Yeah. We actually this week is what we call the delivery week. And what that means is that we are at our busiest because we're trying to
Yeah.
finish an entire month worth of work. To make sure that we don't have to come back to it in the future and it doesn't snowball and then we can like finish a whole section of the game. So this week has been the delivery week. We were contemplating a week ago if we should even do a stream this week because of how busy we are. Like, we shut the stream down and we're gonna go right to work to finish a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, which means that we didn't actually um shout a lot about this stream happening. So it's gonna be probably a little bit
It's a cozy
smaller.
stream.
This one. This one's gonna be a bit more quaint and
Cozy
kind of a
stream.
fireside chat. Yeah,
Fireside cozy chat.
fireside
Especially with
cozy
my
chat.
my weird lighting today. Like
I
it's like
have. Okay.
gloomy outside.
Okay, can we talk
It's
about
real
how
weird.
much better my lighting is in
Your lighting
every
is so good.
single media? So
I hate
podcasts
it.
especially, I have professional lighting, and then Sydney's just there's like sun.
I'm so jealous. Like I have a
Buy
ring
some
light, but it's not
lights.
doing much for me.
No, you need to buy some professional lights, actually.
I don't want to.
But hi, Dr. D-Dub. Hi, Evelyn. Hey, Ken. How
Live
you
streams are
doing?
always hello to
Yeah.
all of the
Hello
people.
to all of the Ride Rex is here.
Figure out my
Hello. Ryderex, you actually got recommended to me on Twitter the other day. And I was like, wait, I know that
Hey,
name. And then I was like, oh,
I know that guy.
of course I do. Yeah, my cam is looking. Oh,
Yeah,
schmexy. Thank
you're
you.
all
Thank you very much.
cozy
Yeah.
and warm, and I'm
Mm.
like just I'm ghostly over here. I'm all pale and
It's
white
just
and
like
reflective.
I'm advertising UK as being cozy. You're
I
not
guess.
advertising
Like
Texas pretty well.
I don't even know like how to fix this. Like I closed the curtain and then I unclosed.
Oh, she's gone. The only problem with my camera
Now I feel
is that
dark. Weird.
uh, the only problem with my camera is the fact that I mean, it's my own fault. I put slops, as
Glowy.
Sydney told me to
Slops.
call it, Streamlabs over there, and my camera's over here. So like, I should have
That was dumb.
not done that. But anyway,
We'll flip it.
no, too lazy now.
Too late.
Anyway,
I'm
so
glowing.
we wanted to open things up. I mean, QA channel is running. You guys know that. That's the
Yep.
deal.
QA's up.
We wanted to open up the stream by talking about some Patreon stuff because
Hey.
it's been a little bit quiet over there.
Yeah.
We know.
We know.
Mostly because of the delivery again.
We've been busy.
We've just been busy making the game. So
Yeah.
like, personally, I love working on the game. I don't particularly love talking about it, but I love working on the game. So we've been busy doing that. I stole words from the mouth of Sean Murray when he was talking about how they succeeded in No Man's Sky. But anyway, I don't want to turn this into an episode of podcast, which you
I
guys
feel
should
like that's
go
helping me any.
listen to, by the way, if you're not. So Patreon stuff. You wanted to do some not announcements, but like just an update on it.
Yeah, just kind of looking over at my thing now because I take notes or I don't forget stuff. So yeah, as Rainey said, we've been kind of quiet on the Patreon front. So once we kind of do our delivery and stuff, and just for anybody who doesn't know, when we talk about we're in the middle of delivery, basically what that means is, we work for a period of time, we give it to the publisher is happy, and then we kind of go that way. So we're at that point where it's like everything is happening all at once. So once we're done with that, the plan is to get up the blogs and all that stuff, the wallpapers and etc. tomorrow, Tuesday-ish, and then we have to start over again for the June Patreon stuff. So we haven't forgotten; it's coming. Just as with always, we're just busy all the time. So mostly, I wanted to say kind of thank you again to everybody who has supported so far. Um, we felt really weird about doing a Patreon, and so the fact that people actually backed it just I don't know. I don't want to say it was rewarding, but I don't know. It helps. It makes us feel less crazy, I
Oh
guess.
yeah.
Um I did kind of want to point out though that everything that's coming in from Patreon, I'm like setting aside for the next game because that's really the purpose for it. So that's happening, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it, like putting together the budget and the idea and stuff for the next thing. Not that we're not stopping on SunnySide or anything, but as a studio, we have to kind of be looking at projecting 3, 6, 8, 10 months in advance and making sure we're set financially and all that stuff. So figuring out what our next steps are going to be. And while Rainey does this, I'm looking forward and it's fun. We have a lot of ideas
Yeah.
that for what we want to do. We're thinking that the next thing we want to do is going to be small and quick. Don't say anything, Rainey. I see your face.
No, what I was gonna say is that a lot of our ideas revolves around two things, which I think is gonna kind of become a theme for RainyGames as a studio. Like, you look at Rockstar and you're like open world games.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And stuff like that. But the first one is cozy. A lot of the
Cozy.
ideas that we come up with are like relaxing and cozy. But the second
Mm-hmm.
one is about atmosphere, and I think that's really
Yeah.
just me that brings that, and then everybody kind of agrees to it. Essentially making games that you can have moments that you know you're just standing there listening to some beautiful ambiance of, like, I don't know, rain or wind running through the leaves or something
Yeah.
like that, and listen to some pretty music. So yeah, atmosphere and
I
coziness,
would
those
say
two
that
things would
like
make a
our
thing.
theme would be atmospheric narrative.
Yeah, I would
Like
love that. Yeah.
that's really what we're going for more than anything. I keep looking at this stream and I just look like fuzzy garbage next to your crisp, clean
God damn it.
bronze self, and
Would you
I'm
want me to turn off
getting
my lights?
increasingly grumpy about it. No. Uh, but yeah, so we're yeah, you can't have too much cozy, right? Um So, but
Mm.
I don't want I feel like a lot of cozy games often end up being kind of cartoony. Um
Okay.
and
Here's
we don't want that. We want
I have
like
a
mature cozy, I guess.
exactly. So I have a controversial
Mature
idea.
cozy.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of the same art style that a lot of cozy
Yeah.
games are being
Same.
presented in. Like, it looks like that corporate art style where everything's
Yeah.
bubbly and big. No
Yeah.
hate to all the games out there that use that style. I love all of you, but I want to make something
It's not
different.
for us.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just not
we
for
want to
us.
make we
And
want to make something a bit different looking.
there's either the oversaturated or like the pastel are kind of like the two, and we don't want to do either of those. So leave me alone, Doc.
Your white balance
So
isn't working. Although, you know what,
I
I am the white balance
there's
here.
not
To
much
be
I can
fair.
do when I am just really white. I can't really
It's
get
alright.
around
I'm
it.
Middle Eastern. I'm the white
And I've
balance.
got like this blue light overcast nonsense coming at me in this window over here. Anyway, I'm gonna be complaining about this the whole stream. But yeah, so we want to do, atmospheric narrative. kind of quick. Like we don't want to go as big as SunnySide for the next thing. We want to do a couple small things first, and
a
then do the next big thing.
Big reason for that is because we're not going to have the capacity.
It's monetary. Yeah.
Because we want to.
We have to keep maintaining SunnySide.
We have to keep maintaining SunnySide with updates, hopefully, potentially, content updates, as well as potentially DLCs, and all that stuff can be great. Like, I personally think about the fact that how much I want to, when we get some money into the studio from selling SunnySide, and that's going to take a while, unfortunately, because of how much cuts different things take.
Well, and just how much we've spent on this game is a lot.
I would love to grab some voice actors and release a voice, like,
that's on my list too. Yeah, it's doing a VA update.
VA update, and then that would be really great. Yeah. But
when we can afford it.
When we can afford it. But, like, we're in this kind of weird position where we're finishing SunnySide. Obviously, the studio's not going to have any money besides all of the support and help you guys give us. And that's why we need to also think about other ideas that we can potentially both support the studio with and do something, because there's going to be a period where we can't touch SunnySide, where, like, all of the business stuff happens and, like, all the preparation to release happens. We can't change the version. We could potentially work on patches, but other than that, we can't, like, change the core game anymore. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep ourselves busy at that point. So that's another reason.
Yeah. So kind of back to the Patreon thing. There are a couple things on there that haven't been opened up yet. So that's like the voting rights ideas box. That's because we can't really do that for SunnySide. But once we go into the pre-production stuff for the next game, that's when we're going to open that up to you guys. So it's coming. It's not something we've, like, forgotten about or anything. I just wanted to, like, say that, I guess. The Kickstarter backers and backer kit people who are on our Discord will continue to have access to the Patreon stuff through the end of June. So you guys have another month for that. So enjoy it while it lasts. And then I just wanted to mention that we did put out our second episode of the podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, you should do that. It's here on YouTube. Easy to find. It's also on Spotify and iTunes, and apparently Google, I guess.
Google Podcasts, yeah.
Maybe.
I have a complaint. It just takes so long for it to be submitted to Google Podcasts.
We know episode 1's up there. I don't know about episode 2. But yeah, go check it out. We talked about... we ended up talking about Redfall, but we kind of used it as a jumping point to talk about game design and the intention behind creating games. And it was a good one. I had fun with that one.
We need to talk about Gollum this time. Like, the industries keep on giving, man. Like,
you're not wrong.
The podcasts are just, like, the contents are just coming. Yeah, it's been a weird time. I mean, we got to keep it for the podcast, but, like, what the hell is going on in the industry right now with AAAs?
I feel like
I've seen so many tweets recently of people saying, I don't play AAAs anymore. I've just been playing indies. That makes me very happy, but also, like, what's going on?
But also kind of...
Yeah.
What happens is investors got their hands on the AAA universe, and it's not for gamers anymore. That's the answer. But we're not going to go into that.
We'll talk about that in the Developers Den podcast.
Yeah.
And catch our episode.
But we also want to start having guests and stuff on there. So I'm kind of still putting my feelers out. I have some ideas. I don't want to do guests too soon, but that's something that we're looking.
Speaking of Patreon, a little quick nudge, a little gentle reminder to all of the people who are not Patreon backers but are getting the stuff because they were Kickstarter or backer kit backer. The public content sharing for you guys is going to end on the end of June. At the end of June,
I already said that.
Keep that in mind. Did you?
Yeah, you just weren't listening.
I just wasn't listening. So that's gonna happen. There you go. Another reminder. But anyway, I do think we should move on to SunnySide. I think we talked enough business.
I was about to, and then you're like, "Oh, one more thing." I was like, "I already talked about that. What are you talking about?"
But one thing I want to do I want to play some background music, so it might be loud at the
Okay.
start. So a little bit of a
Okay.
warning. Okay, no,
I'll
it's not
listen
loud.
on the live stream to.
And it's something.
Oh wow,
very...
I'm like way louder than you.
Are you?
Yeah.
Isn't that usually the norm anyway?
Yeah, I'm always louder than you. I just have a higher pitched voice.
I'm gonna turn you down.
Turn me down a little bit.
Hold on. I'm not gonna turn you down on there. I'm gonna turn you down on Discord.
That's probably smart. Okay. Just checking the stream. What I do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me know if Sydney is too quiet, if the music is too loud, all that stuff. I can't hear what's happening. But you know,
how do I sound, guys?
Something very cute that happened is that this VLC took this as our album art, and if you don't know who that is, that's Rain, our mascot. And
wait, who did what where?
Yeah.
Who did what where? What?
VLC. Just
it's VLC.
You know that
What? I don't know what that is.
Oh my god, Sydney doesn't know what VLC is. It's a video audio player.
I would guess that a lot of people in chat probably don't know what that is.
Okay.
We're not all nerds.
I'd be sad if you guys don't know what VLC is. You're all right, Ren. Hi.
Hi, Ren.
Okay, so all the farming stuff that we're gonna be talking about. We don't have any photos, videos, any of that. We have engine. So we're gonna we have the game. So we're gonna show it to you guys in the game. There's going to be two ways we're gonna do this. One is going to be the actual Unreal Engine, which we're gonna open it and show you guys the back end of stuff. And then at some point we're going to actually run the game, a version of it that I compiled last night. So it's very fresh. And show you guys how farming works, how SunnySide is gonna look. Obviously when it comes to polish and bug fixing and stuff, that's something that is going to happen all the way up to the end. But farming,
all the fixing,
most of farming is finished. There are some extensions that we're not going to talk about in this stream to, well, first keeps things exciting when you guys play the game, but also because they're not polished enough that we like to show them. So from the list that we compiled, why don't you, Sydney, start, because you were the lead of what even going to be in the game as a crop.
Yeah, so could we safely say I was the designer for this program or this system designer? You programmed it, I designed it.
I designed the implementation in the engine. You designed how the whole farming is gonna pretty much work, the gameplay loop. Yeah, you did, because I would have never done the the middle stages,
the way that I did it
stuff. What the hell is that even? I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't do gardening in real life.
I mean, to be fair, neither do I.
Neither do you. True.
I've killed everything that I've grown. Well, let me rephrase that. Texas has killed everything that I've grown because the bugs love my plants. And I don't want to deal with that. So I stopped trying to garden in Texas. If you're a gardener in Texas, send me information because I want to know how you deal with all the frickin' bugs.
Can't relate.
But anyway, it's so horrible. Sorry. There's so many bugs in Texas. No, there's so many bugs in Texas. It's just like I don't like going outside.
We only have spiders and I don't know, fruit flies in the UK, like where I live at least. That's it.
Yeah, greedy's in Texas. It's like you go outside and 50 things want to eat you.
Oh boy.
And it's like, I hate it. I have 2 mosquito bites on my arms right now.
I come from Iran. I know your pain. Going out in the 45-degree weather in Celsius. What is that in Fahrenheit? In freedom temperature degrees?
What was it in Celsius?
45.
It's 100 and something.
Yeah, 100 and something. So I know. I lived in that temperature, as you can tell. Yeah.
So jealous. Anyway, let's talk about. I keep waiting for a visual to pop up on the screen so I can talk about it. Can I have some visuals? I don't know I don't want to just talk about it. Gardening.
I'll go to the farm. Hold on. Let's
go to the farm.
I go to the farm that Laura very graciously put together for us. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rin. Like there are bugs that I found on plants. So I'm like, what the hell is this? Nobody told me about this. Nobody told me about thrips and spider mites. Hi, Bagheera.
Actually, I don't
Yeah, exactly. Horrible.
Okay, so we're gonna go to
Freedom height.
this one, and we're gonna.
There's a cat at my feet.
Yes. So we have some visuals on the screen now. This is a mock farm that Laura put together in the engine for us, so that we can kind of have a look at what you guys could potentially have.
Fake farm.
Go to the toolbar. Make sure that my settings are all high. All right, go ahead. Start.
Sorry, I was petting the cat. This is important.
And this isn't everything,
they can't
by the way.
No.
113.
Oh gosh, she did a great job. Good job, Laura.
She did a pretty good job.
She did this last night. Just messing around with some farm things. So, in terms of greedy, yeah, spider mites are literally the worst. I think there's gonna be a cat appearance here in a second. He's being very needy today. So, farming system. So, we've talked about a few times with the farming system about how we wanted things to be more realistic. Not so much hyper realism, like this is not Farm Simulator 2023, because nobody has time for that. But my brain went off in a total tangent just there. Love you, Farm Sim. You guys are a great game, but not for us. But what I wanted to do with the system, and just to be clear, the reason that I'm the one who did the system, one, Rainy had no idea, but I originally joined the team to actually do the cooking system. That was the whole reason I originally joined. But I quickly found out that I couldn't really do the cooking system without influence over the farming system. So that's why Rainy just kind of passed the whole thing off to me. He was like, here, go for it.
Hand in hand.
Yeah, he was like, good luck. So,
well, like I did with story.
Yeah, same with the narrative too. Yeah, here, have the story. Have fun with that.
Which we're gonna talk about, by the way, when we're done with farming. So stick around.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Hello, Bagheera. He is wanting so much attention right now. So I don't garden. I tried at the beginning of the pandemic. I definitely tried. But all of my gardening that has been successful has been virtual. So, but when I was trying to grow my own food at the beginning of the pandemic, I started following a lot of YouTubers who grow things. And one of my favorites ended up being Epic Gardening, which we've talked. I knew this was going to happen. There's a cat. We've talked about Epic Gardening before, and we kind of low-key announced that we were like partnering up with them. I know we had talked about a long time. This was like April of when, like 2021, I think, when we said like, hey, we're working with somebody who's helping us make sure this is all good practice. For those of you who guessed, yes, it was him. And Kevin has been great. Not so much. If we have questions, we need to poke him. He helps us and he answers questions. But mostly it's just, I creep on his YouTube channel and I get a lot of ideas.
It's really funny to me when so we invited him to our Discord dev server so that we can like ask him questions and stuff about how things should work. But it's really weird to me when I'm going through YouTube Shorts. I don't have TikTok. I don't know. I just feel like YouTube Shorts is better. I have a superiority complex. But anyway, when I see him recommended to me in YouTube Shorts, it's really weird because like, oh, I know him. I talked to him.
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? That's the guy that told us not to do that in the game.
The Bagheera. He has arrived.
Also, hi Criticove. Welcome. Really, really nice to have you guys around. Yeah.
That's the key. If a cat is bothering you and you don't want to hold him, just bug the crap out of him and then they'll leave you alone. So anyway, where I was going with all that is in watching Kevin's stuff and watching a lot of gardeners and researching gardening on my own, I was finding that there was just a lot of disconnect between real life gardening and then like what a lot of games were doing. And it just bothered me. the whole, locking crops to like one season was confusing, and there were just a lot of things I didn't really like. So when it came to designing our farming system, I wanted it to be robust but not overwhelming. And so there are a lot of things that we could have done. In fact, I'm going to read Uru's question because she posted it. Sorry, I apologize. The avatar is a cute anime girl, so I make assumptions. But they'd asked us, there was a discussion that came up in the server a while ago about the realism of our farming system. So doing soil quality degradation, or having plants that need more sunlight or need better soil, or if you can overwater or underwater, or creating biodiversity. We didn't do that stuff, so I'm just going to put that out there now. Could we have? Yes, but then it would have been a farm only sim, and I think it would have been overwhelming with everything else that we have in the game. So we had to kind of do everything in a little bit instead of going really hard on one thing. So to answer Uru's questions, none of that stuff's really in the game. But what we did do is I wanted to have what I think a lot of home gardeners really enjoy about gardening, at least from watching them and the brief step that I got, is actually buying seeds. Is because Rainy, you and I talked about this when we first started doing this, and I was showing you seed catalogs.
Mm-hmm.
And you open the page to carrots, but there's 30 different kinds of carrot.
Yeah, purple
there's
ones.
There's purple ones. There's short ones. There's really long ones. There's giant ones. To me, the fun part about gardening really was what am I going to grow? That to me was such an exciting part of the whole process. What seeds am I going to buy this year? What am I going to put my effort and my time into? So that was kind of the direction that I wanted to go. Not so much I have to grow this because this is what's going to make me the most money. Because then it's not a farm simulator, it's a capitalism simulator. I wanted it to be I wanted to be a what are the things that you really enjoy about gardening? And how do I pull that out of real life and put it into a game without drowning in all the stuff that people hate? Like bugs. No pests in this game because everybody hates that. Weeds. Nobody likes weeding. I don't want to deal with that. But there are some things that we could kind of use that are real to life that aren't overwhelming. Like when a skunk gets into your garden, which that's a direct shout out at Kevin at Epic Gardening, because it's happened to him 3 times. Yep. And they dug up his prized plant and it was devastating. So we kept that. But the daily monotonous grind of dealing with bugs, don't want to do that. So that's kind of how I picked and chose what are we going to focus on, what are we not. So anyway, where I'm going with all this is I wanted to go with in this instance quantity. So most farm games, all the research that I did, have about 40 different crops that you can pick from. Trees and the different ground crops, stuff like that. Our final number ended up being 113.
Oh yes.
So yeah, and that was a number I didn't really want to say until they were finished and done and in the game, and now that they are, we can actually say yes, we have 113 crops base game. That's what you guys get to start. And then we also want to add more later. So if we're growing strawberries or growing carrots or growing whatever, eventually maybe we can do white strawberries, we can do purple carrots, we can do, popping corn, and then new things that you'll get to grow will equal new things that you can cook. So I wanted this to be kind of the heart of that whole system, was you grow the stuff, you eat the stuff. And then you can also take some of the stuff and then turn it into things that you can sell. So that was kind of the idea. So the other thing that we did is I separated out the types of crops. So we always look at Stardew Valley. Sorry, Stardew. But
I'm just going
so they have
spring and it's mental.
It's a lot, yeah. And those aren't even categorized right anymore, right, Rainy? Because we didn't do
no, these,
which I'm getting to.
No.
Yeah. So, but so for like Stardew, you have crops that you grow in the ground, you have trees, and then you have like those wild seeds. Like that's pretty much how it's categorized. I went straight realism. So we have alliums, brassicas, there's flowers, fruits, gourds, grains, greens, herbs, legumes, roots, teas, and trees. So there's a lot of different categories of like what is the type of thing that you're growing.
Mm-hmm.
So alliums is things like onions and garlic and green onions, and then you've got brassicas, which is like cauliflower, and there's others that I can't think of now. There's a lot of them. Gourds is going to be, things like pumpkins and cucumber gourds, a melon, yeah. So that was kind of how I kind of wanted it to be a system that you could actually sort of learn from, rather than just plant thing.
Actually, if you remember, we had the idea to do like a compendium in game and have like almost like a Wikipedia page for every crop in the game that you could go to. We have limitations, which means that we can't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, it would be a nice little update that probably a lot of people won't care about, but it's just nice to have in the game, I think.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry, I was reading everything.
You might be wondering, you can take a break and read everything, actually, because I'm going to take over for a moment. You might be wondering, how did we put all of this into the game? Because essentially, if you think about it, especially if you have done development yourself, you would want to design a single system that can handle all of this craziness of different types of crops existing.
Yeah, it gets crazier. I haven't even gotten into it yet.
Yeah, it gets crazier. But like, how do you put this into code? So that's where I come in. Usually Sydney's the one that brings order to chaos that I create, but this time I brought order to the chaos that Sydney has created. So let's reel it back and look at a very simple, and yes, simple compared to what else we have, crop like strawberry. So
yeah,
strawberry's
one of the easy ones.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too technical, so don't worry. But we use something called a data asset, which as the name suggests, it's an asset in the game engine that only holds data. So
we call them DAs.
We call them DAs, exactly. So we essentially gave, and this came from the very start, like 3 years ago when I was making the game on my own. There are stages to a crop when it grows. And you separate the crop by its stages, and then it will make it very clear. That's how every farming game works, and that's how ours work too. But those stages have a lot more to them. So what you're looking at right now is the data asset for strawberry. Obviously, we have the name for it. We have the size. As you know, we have the small digging areas and the big ones. Those of you who played the alpha did that. And then down here, we have growth v2 and the growth deprecated. When you make a game, of course, you can't ever delete anything, so you just have to keep it
God
there,
forbid.
but call it deprecated. Anyway, so we have growth v2, and we have the stages for strawberry. The way it works is that I sat down and thought about it. I was like, okay, so if you have something like onion, and you harvest it when it's fully grown, then the onion is gone because you pull it out of the ground, or similar to potatoes, because you pulled it out of the ground and the plant isn't going to stay to produce more. But something like strawberry, you don't take the whole plant out of the ground, you keep it there so that it can give you more strawberries. You just pick the strawberries. Or like tomatoes are the same. And then I was like, okay, so that makes kind of sense. We have recurring plants and then the ones that just go away when you harvest them. But then Sydney came in and she was like, okay, well,
actually,
if you harvest onion at this stage, you're gonna get something else, but the onion is going to stay. So like you can like pick like the something out of it. What was the example? Was it garlic?
It's not onions. So that's true with okay. Hold on, let me back up. So there's a lot of different things that happen with plants, specifically because plants are things that we have as humans have like put effort and modifications into to grow the thing that we want to eat. So like onions and green onions and leeks are like all technically the same plant, but they've been modified through crossbreeding and stuff to grow the thing that we want to grow. So with garlic, garlic, you eat the bulb, which is underground, but garlic is actually a flower. I'm so happy about this right now. So garlic is a flower. So,
That's so true.
but we influenced it so that we could eat the root of it, but it still puts out that flower. So through the growing process, it puts out what's called a garlic scape, which is really cool, curly cute thingy, which is the flower. So if you let it continue to grow, it's going to stop putting nutrients and stuff into the garlic bulb, which is what you want to eat, and it's going to focus on creating that flower because that's how the plant reproduces. So most people, gardeners, will clip off that garlic scape and then, let the garlic do its thing. 99% of the time in a video game, who cares? You don't need to talk about that step. You don't need to show it. However, you can cook them and eat them, and apparently they're super delicious.
Exactly. So hold on. Don't get too complicated, though. That's good amount of information. Thank you.
You got all the info you wanted.
So Sydney essentially wanted us to be able to grab those scapes and then let the garlic grow and then grab the garlic again. I was like, oh, okay, so we want to be able to potentially harvest a crop at any
Rainy's
stage.
biggest nightmare.
And the crop might not go away. I was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. And then she was like, okay, but some crops, if you let them go past the point where you actually are supposed to harvest them, then they end up producing seeds.
Like carrots.
Yeah, so that's why in SunnySide we don't have a seed maker like a lot of farming sims do, because you just kind of do it through, actual IRL kind of ways. Like carrot, for instance, that you mentioned, if you don't harvest the carrot, like the root that is underground, then it produces a flower that has seeds on it, and then you can, have more carrots. So you essentially sacrifice not getting carrot to get seeds. And yes, you can do that in SunnySide. So I had to consider all of this, and I haven't even gotten to trees. But trees are part of this too. So how did we do a system that can handle all of this? So we essentially...
Lots of hard work.
Yeah, we essentially treated every crop as having these stages that have a lot of information in them. Essentially, if we look at a strawberry again, you can see that it has 6 stages, and that might be a bit confusing, but it starts at 0, so that's why it's 6. Essentially, you have the seeds in the ground, and then it turns into this little plant that pokes out, and then a bigger plant that pokes out, and then you have the full crop with flowers on it, and then eventually those flowers turn into strawberries at this stage. So how we treated it is that we completely, and if anybody's listening and is going to make a farming game out of this, you're welcome. We completely separated the plant from its product. So if you look at strawberry, that's the interesting bit. This is the plant's actual mesh. And hold on, let me have some trickery going on. This is the actual mesh for the plant. And then this is the strawberry that gets added to it when it does have a product on it. So plant, put strawberry next to it, you get this. And then once you pick those strawberries, instead of changing the whole model for the strawberry, we just remove the strawberries and then it can stay. And you can now extend that to everything I just mentioned. Because if you have a garlic plant and it's supposed to clip up the scapes, just make the scapes a separate model as the garlic, and then once that is harvested, you just take that away, but the garlic stays. Or you can tell it not to do that and then just remove the whole thing. And then, without getting too much into it, if we look at that stage specifically in strawberry that you can harvest it, you can see that we have a bunch count, because some crops bunch, like corn would do.
Corn.
Or wheat. We essentially modeled of one thing, and then the engine goes and puts it around. So every of your games is going to be different from one another when you grow stuff that bunch. We have a length to this stage, like how many days it takes for it to get to this point. And then once you take the strawberries, do we go back to a stage? In strawberry, that's the case. When you take the strawberry fruit, it goes back to producing more strawberries. And then
flowers. Little flowers.
Little flowers, yeah. And then if we should completely remove it on harvesting. And yeah, and also every stage has a product data, which comes from that whole discussion that, you know, garlic has scapes in the middle of its growth, or carrot has seeds once it goes past its growth. So, you know, we can add a product to a crop at any point of its growth, and that keeps it more realistic, I suppose. So this is our solution. This is farming version 2 in SunnySide, and I'm very proud of it with implementation. Sydney's very proud of it with design, and we are really excited for all of you guys to get your hands on it, and we're not done talking about it. So
no, yeah, there's actually a lot more. And so that was just like the first step of how do we crack open like the methods that every other farm game has used. And Doc actually called it right. He said, can confirm, I've played Valheim. In Valheim, you find carrot seeds, and then that's how you grow your own plants, and then you can grow more seeds. And that's actually straight where I got the idea. And then also watching Epic Gardening and a couple others, you know, he actually owns a seed company now, but at the time he was going to seed production farms and showing how they produce seeds. And I was like, this is so cool. I feel like people don't know about this. Like, I want to talk about where seeds come from, and I want them to not be like insanely expensive. You know, I want the amount that you spend for the seed to feel like you're getting some actual reward when you sell the crop. So yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I'll take it's something that we've argued about. We had to make some decisions about, like how I'm kind of skipping in our outline, but it came up.
Essentially, Sydney wanted to change the entirety of how traditional farming sims do economy.
Yeah.
Like Stardew Valley that I've been, not Stardew Valley, but Stardew Valley as well. But Harvest Moon that I've been growing up with. Essentially in those games, the seed that you buy is usually singular, and it's like, you know, 60G or 100G or 120G. It's supposed to essentially kind of have a margin with the product that you get at the end. So you get a very simple economy of grab a seed, grow a crop out of it, get some profit. But Sydney wanted to completely challenge this idea and change the whole thing and have a seed be
bothers
like
me.
1 cupule. And so go ahead.
So
tell
the
us
reason
why
it
that's
bothers
okay.
me is because seeds in real life are cheap AF. You can buy a seed packet for $2 that has like 100 seeds in it. And you usually end up actually wasting a lot of them. They're not this super precious resource. It's something that, you know, you'll plant 30 and hope to get 10 that will actually germinate. And then you choose like the best 2 or 3. And then those are the plants that you grow. So I wanted to have that idea of it's okay to like collect and hoard seeds, because that's something that real gardeners do. If I still have seeds that I've hoarded, because I want to actually grow things someday. And they come from a lot of different sources. You can buy them, you can propagate your own, you can pull them out of tomatoes that you buy at the grocery store and take a seed out and grow that. There are so many cool ways that we can procure seeds, and I wanted that to be something you could do. I wanted you to be able to go and buy a potato at the grocery store in the game and go and plant the potato. Because why not? So we had to kind of look at how does the seed system work, and we finally came to an agreement, and I'm really excited about it. But basically in SunnySide, seeds are cheap. And the only way we could do that is to do it real world, where you buy a packet of seeds and you open up the packet of seeds and then you get a bunch of individual seeds. But at no point in the game can you actually sell or buy one singular seed for a crop. There's one exception, and it's a seed that you find, but we're not going to talk about that one. Mm-hmm. So
we have special plants anyway.
Yeah. So, but thankfully it was a system we'd already developed because we had the Afuda pack with the card opening, which everybody's seen. We've talked about it and stuff on stream. So we already kind of had this system where you could like open something up and get stuff from inside of it. We have it with the fishing lures too. So it made sense to kind of bring it over to the seeds and make it work. So when you buy seeds from SunnySide, you're going to get one packet that's going to, we haven't chosen a number yet, but that will have anywhere from like 5 to 15 seeds inside of it, depending on the type of plant and how much it costs and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that. I wanted it to be that you could buy a packet of seeds for 2 cupules, and then you sell the 40 strawberries you get from one plant for a cupule each, and have it make sense, because nobody should be selling a melon for like $20. What is it in Stardew Valley? It's like, what do you sell melon? Aren't melons like, I don't remember, or it's blueberries or cranberries or something that like sells for an insane amount. And I was just like, it's so weird. The economy makes no sense, and I want the economy to make sense. So anyway, I'm excited about it. But so that wasn't even the complicated thing. So the other thing that I looked at was growing seasons. And this came about because when we were making the data sheets and trying to decide what crops would be in what season, me and our researchers, we kept getting into arguments about where to assign plants. Because when you actually grow stuff, the season that you can grow things in is different, like all over the world. So the season that you can grow stuff in Texas is going to be different from the season you can grow something in England, because our climates are totally different. And I figured this out, again, watching Kevin. He can grow stuff through the winter because he lives in Southern California and his zone lets him do that because it's warm. But you couldn't do that in like New England because it's too cold. So that was something I kind of wanted to look at, was like, how do we define what season you can grow stuff if it's different for everybody? Mm-hmm. And how do we approach things like tomatoes, which you plant in the spring, but you harvest in the summer? Or things like wheat, which you plant in the spring and you harvest in the fall. So is it a spring crop? Is it an autumn crop? Do we categorize everything by the season that you harvested in? Or do we categorize it by the season that you planted in? Or do we categorize it by the season that it grows in? Garlic is something that you can plant in the winter and then harvest in the spring. Or you plant in like the autumn and it goes through the winter and then you harvest in the spring. So where does that fall? So it was this question that kept coming up, was like, how do we categorize what season things go with? So like the one that was really tripping me up the most was gourds, right? So like melons and things. You've heard of summer squash, right, Rainy? You know what summer squash is? Yeah. Did you know the summer squash and winter squash are actually the same plant? It's just when you pick the squash.
Of course it is.
So it was things like that. I was like, well, shit, now what do I do? Because I can't have a plant that's summer squash and a plant that's winter. It was too much. Yeah. So, and I was thinking about that too. Yeah, we can just use Japanese crop seasons. But if we did that, it actually depends on what part of Japan that you're in, because there are actually like 3 or 4 different zones in Japan too. So there are areas where it snows a lot, there are areas where it doesn't, and it was too much.
Yeah, you can go from Hokkaido all the way to Sotenbori and
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So
Kyoto, yeah.
What I decided to do was, instead of you grow pumpkins in the fall and you grow tomatoes in the summer and you grow strawberries in the spring, which also makes no sense because strawberries are actually a summer crop. I just had to say that. It's been bothering me. So you got it wrong, Stardew. What we did instead was broke it into cool weather crops and warm weather crops. So it's basically the whole summer, spring, winter, fall thing kind of out the window. And the plants have a growth cycle that they grow during. And then they have a fruiting cycle, which is when they put out whatever their edible is. So you can plant a crop in the spring, and it might actually grow through to the summer, and it will continue producing potentially into the fall, depending on what the plant is. So it's a lot more complicated. Actually, do you have, Rainy? I probably should have said this earlier. Do you have the cool little chart on SunnySide, the new one?
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to launch the game so that we can show
Oh,
SunnySide
perfect.
and
Okay,
stuff.
cool.
I think it's about time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. SunnySide PC QA version 42.2.
Perfect.
Which one was the last alpha? I think it was 12,
Oh, God.
13.
I think it was 12, yeah.
Yeah, we're at version 42 now.
So while he pulls that up, basically
And,
what
sorry,
it comes
it's
down
going to be a bit loud when I open the game because obviously the main menu is going to play, and Sydney's voice and the game come both through the same sources. So
how dare you?
Oh, there we go. Do, 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 do.
So, in the end, and he's going to show you guys kind of pictures, and he'll talk about more how it works. But what I was going for kind of goes back to, I wanted to build the system not for optimization. It's not about optimizing to get the most money for the season. Again, I didn't want to do like a capitalism simulator. It's a gardening simulator. It's farming. It's growing stuff. It's kind of that whole fun process of experimenting and losing things and trying new stuff. So I went more for customization, which is why you have 113 crops. You can grow the same plant through multiple seasons. We have, instead of like corn, I know in Stardew, like that one grows for 2 seasons, but it still is gone. So what we did instead is we have perennial crops, we have annual crops. So something like strawberries is actually a perennial. It's going to last until next year and the year after. So in SunnySide, when you plant strawberries, you're going to have strawberries forever. Is that realistic? No, but we have to cut some corners. So you'll have your perennial plants, those plants that continue to put out. Some of them are perennials and they're going to be around forever, like blueberries, like strawberries. Some of them are going to be annuals, like tomatoes. They're going to grow through the season and then they're going to die, and then you're going to have to plant more the next year. So, and we gave you guys handy little charts so that hopefully people won't get us lost. But I'm really excited about the whole system. I think it's kind of that whole, we want to be the next step in the farming genre. And I feel like really cracking open the farming aspect and making it fun and a little bit more realistic and educational and more customizable. I feel like we've done a good job, I hope.
Well, we're looking at strawberry and SunnySide right now and the table. So, I'll take credit for the table. I devised it. I thought it was a pretty
he did. The table's great.
Visualize.
Yeah, the table's great.
Yeah, what's going to be
I
what,
kind of started it though, because it's a table in the data sheet.
Well, true. And also,
but you made it way better.
Also, Laura said something earlier. Her name's Effervescent over here. She and the team also super proud for putting all of this crazy amount of data into the game, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so ignore the days to harvest being 0. I just haven't connected that one. But essentially, if you look at the table, you can see that you have your seasons. So you have your spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And if you can purchase it, if it does grow, and if it fruits. And then this would just really allow you to kind of plan how, like, what you're going to buy and how you're going to grow it and all that stuff. And we still have the same system where you can, there's a minimum to buy. But now, instead of buying single crops, you're essentially buying packets. And, you know, we will show you here how many you're going to get in a packet, of course. Expect an additional line here that shows you how many.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a few more lines.
And I think, Sydney, it would be a very good idea to show the player how many seeds they're going to end up getting. Like, just do a little bit of calculation above this number so that you will actually know exactly how many you're going to get. Because some people would like to buy crops exactly to how many they're prepared, like how many plots they're prepared. That would be a good idea.
And we also need a perennial or annual tag in there too.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is currently the list of stuff that I can buy only during spring, by the way. This isn't the entire catalog of stuff that we have in the game.
It's a lot.
These saplings are trees, as you can imagine. And another big shout out to the icon team for making all these beautiful icons for these stuff.
And to Cowrie, who now just had to go through and make more icons because we now have seed packets.
Yeah.
So what the other thing that was kind of bothering me was that if you had something like a carrot where you'd grow it and then you'd let it go to seed and then you'd harvest the seeds, what you ended up harvesting was the icon for the SunnySide like packet of seeds.
Oh, you're gonna talk about that? Oh my god.
I have to. It bothers me.
This one's you're gonna like. You guys are gonna like.
So now what you're going to harvest is an actual little like bundle of seeds. But we want you to be able to sell the seeds, right? So what you're going to be able to do is take those seeds over to a seed packing machine and pack them into your own packs that you can then sell to the garden center. So if you want to, yeah, if you just want to be a seed farmer, go for it. And then you can actually make money doing it. So that was something that we had to figure out. And now Kaori went through and made seed packets. So, and before anybody asks, no, you cannot customize your seed packet. No. Maybe one day. We're not there yet. It's going to take a lot more programming. So just for now, it's just going to be a cute little brown sack of seeds. But eventually, maybe.
And we
don't look at them complimenting your clean UI.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I try. So, we don't have the packages just yet because, to be honest with you guys, we haven't figured out the numbers. So these are going to arrive as kind of traditional single crop single seed per purchase. And a little tiny note that I just realized I should mention is the fact that a lot of people were wondering about time passing. We are now pausing the time anytime you're interacting with the UI. Or in a dialogue or anything like that, so that one, you don't worry about time passing, but also, you know, very importantly, other stuff can't happen because like if you're in the middle of a dialogue and suddenly Gabe sends you a very important text, that's gonna cause issues. And I have to also talk about a little tiny note. This is a system that we talked about in the past, but if you look at my minimap, you might notice that it's 2D now. It's essentially top down. So the reason that we changed it is only for one thing, and it's practicality. We realized that the isometric camera for the minimap, as cool as it looked, it wasn't practical at all. You would go behind things, buildings would get in front of your view, and we couldn't have our icons as clean as we wanted it to be. We still have the isometric view. If you go into the map app, so it's the same as before. It looks a lot cleaner though, but the actual minimap is now top down, and it's a lot more zoomed out, which means you can see stuff better, and we actually have icons on it. I don't know why I had text on it before. I don't know what I was thinking. Nobody puts text on a minimap, but it's all icon now. Anyway,
he's very proud. He's been working very hard on that this past week.
Fixed up the whole system. And also, oh my god, we're not going to talk about it this stream, but the minimap is absolutely essential in the caves.
Oh, it's great.
So you can find your path around, find your way around. And the top-down view is just so much nicer. Anyway, I'm going to open up some space for these seeds that I ordered. And please ignore that extra menu that you just saw above my toolbar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're not going to talk about that. I don't know. So while Rainy clears weeds, I'm going to talk a little bit more about seeds because... like I said, I think it's the thing that actual gardeners really have fun with. I know I love looking at seed catalogs and stuff. Not that I'm actually a gardener, but so I kind of wanted that whole experience to be true to life within the game. So kind of allowing the player to experiment with new stuff, try new plants, and not feel like you've wasted a season on a crop. I wanted you to be able to buy something because it was cheap and try it out. And if you didn't like it, you don't grow it again. It's not that big a deal. So with that, buying seeds is not the only way to get seeds. So yeah, you can get them from SunnySide, which is how you're going to get the first of most of your seeds. But everything after that, with the eat some food, with the exception of trees, there are some things that you have to buy, so you will still be using SunnySide, but there are a lot of plants that you can produce your own seed. So the seeds you can only buy are mostly the trees. There's a whole reason for that, but you can't propagate any of your own trees, not yet. Like onions, like some of the herbs and stuff, you have to buy them. There are others that you can harvest straight from the plant. So we talked about carrots, cabbages, some of the herbs like cilantro, you can harvest coriander.
I'm gonna cheat.
I know, I was waiting for it. There's mushrooms right there. Go eat some mushrooms.
Actually, you know what? Yes.
Yeah, go eat
Nature
some mushrooms.
provides. Wait, no.
Yeah, nature provides.
I have pasta. I'm gonna cheat and give myself a bicycle, but keep on going.
Alright, so there are other crops that you can like directly plant the thing that you eat. So potatoes are one that we've talked about a lot. Garlic is one of those. Ginger is another one where you just plant the thing. And then peppercorns are another good one. There are other plants that you have to like kind of process the fruit of the plant in order to get the seed. So there are a lot of different ways in real life that you could do this. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. So what we just did is if a plant falls in that category, you put it in the dehydrator and then you get seeds. So tomatoes, watermelons, pumpkins kind of fall into that category. Pumpkin is actually an interesting one because there are a lot of things where you eat the seed, like pumpkins. So that little pile of seeds is an edible that you can eat. So we tried to like keep it as realistic as possible, where if you're like, hey, I eat pumpkin seeds, can I eat this? Yes, the answer will be yes. Can I eat tomato seeds? No, nobody really does that. And then there is one plant that you have to find, but we're not gonna.
Yeah, so Sydney had to come to a compromise about this one because I really wanted it in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do
have like absolutely not.
We do have a special crop that you have to find and you can't buy anywhere. So
I'll give you guys a little bit of the story though.
Yeah.
Basically, Rainy came to me and said, I want plants that glow.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, absolutely not. Because there are no plants in nature that glow naturally. They've all been modified or something. So, he's and we don't have magic in the game. So, I told him no. And then we had a big argument and I compromised. And then that's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I think the last thing you wanted to talk about was like plots and planners?
Yeah,
pots
and planters.
Pots and planners.
Yeah, I had to go get some stamina by eating some food.
You could have just bought a pot. You don't have to dig anything.
Well, I wanted to just show the crop. So essentially, we have done some polishes and UI fixes and stuff and updates. So now, for build mode, if you guys remember, I added this whole area thing that shows where you can build. Well, we extended the system, and thank you for the visual hints, Liz and Laura. But I think they look a lot less intrusive as they used to. They were like orange and bright and crazy.
Which,
but
for
now,
the record, I also told him and he ignored me.
True, I did.
Just saying that.
I did.
Just saying.
But they look like this now, and they do appear now when you want to dig. So, and also, this is important for you guys to know, there are more things that block digging now. For instance, grass is something. It's a little bit inaccurate right now because the grass isn't touching there, but it still thinks it's touching it. So you can't dig through the grass, you need to cut it. And you also can't dig outside of the area, even if the area is clear. See, like here, it's clear, but like I'm outside of the build area, like the bit that is mine. And just like, I'm gonna also show this because some people might be here that might have not known this, but you can change the plot size to a small one, a big one, and then this one is like super big, which is for like stuff like rice. What do you call this? A
patty.
A patty, yes.
So,
and then you can put rices and stuff in it.
I actually want to talk about the rice patty real quick,
Yeah,
because I feel like...
And you can change the grade size too, so I'm going to put some...
I feel like we're going to get heat for this at some point, so I just want to be clear.
Yeah. Cool.
Damn you and your little 9-square Stardew Valley digging method.
I love it.
So, with the rice patties, You don't have to grow rice in a paddy. You can just grow rice and harvest rice. The rice paddy is an irrigation method mixed with like a bug prevention and disease prevention type thing. You don't have to grow them in a paddy form like that. However, I kind of felt like if we made a game based in Japan and didn't give people rice paddies, they'd be really pissed. So it was like one of those areas where we kind of compromised. You can't actually grow anything else in the paddy. It's just for rice. We might do cranberries later, which also you don't grow in a paddy technically.
But I need to unlock stuff.
It's just me being weird about like crop realism, but you don't grow cranberries in water. You just flood them when you harvest them. Anyway, that is all. Sorry. I'm
So
done with my paddy thing.
No, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and we, touched it before during build mode stuff and in previous streams, but, just to kind of bring us back to it, we have planters in the game and pots and stuff. So they can include one spot to plant things. So if I put this is a 2 spot. So I have 2 spots for 2 seeds to put in here. So I'm going to put this guy down. And then we have single ones too. And yeah, of course, we have ones that go on walls. And, I haven't set this one up accurately enough. But yeah, they do go on walls. I think I can put it there. Yeah. Obviously, you won't be able to plant everything in that guy. That's tiny. And there are limitations to the pots, but you can put them inside. Now, you might ask, how are you going to water them? We are still answering that question ourselves. So,
with the hose. Inside.
Inside.
No,
indoors.
we do have an answer
we
for
do
that.
Have an
you
answer.
Just forgot what it was.
Did we confirm it?
Yeah.
Did we? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I don't remember it. But
because I refuse to put a watering can in our game.
Ah, yes. Okay. No, I know. And we're not going to talk about that system, are we?
No,
about the
it's not done yet.
Yep.
I don't like telling you guys. This is somewhere where Rainy and I differ. I don't like talking about systems we haven't finalized. I don't like saying, "Oh, we're planning on doing this," and then have it change, and then you guys get confused and stuff. So I'd rather show you guys things we've finished, and like we can say, "Yes, this is done."
Yeah.
So there is another system mixed with gardening that we haven't finished yet. So I'm not letting Rainy talk about it.
That is fine. I understand. That makes. I'm gonna put some lights down. And oh, the phone is floating. Great. Beauties of game development.
We don't have any of the hanging planters in build mode yet, do we?
No, I haven't added those guys yet. So anyway, I'm going to add some seeds to my inventory. I mean, we could wait for SunnySide, but I just gonna do it quickly.
We're patient.
Give me a flower name.
Marigold.
Marigold. Marigold. Turmeric. No.
Not turmeric. It's not flower.
Marigold is not showing. Did I type it right? M-E-R?
M-A-R.
M-A-R. Marigold. I love English. Anyway, so in our new implementation, obviously you would have to open these packets before you can actually plant them, but this is still the old one. So yeah, I can plant the marigold seed in that one, and we are working on a new animation for planting in a pot. Don't worry. And that one's gonna be hard to reach. Actually, I don't know if I can reach that. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Reach
I didn't
what?
think about that.
I can't see what you're doing.
I'm trying to plant in the one that is high up on the wall.
Oh yeah. Aim mode.
Aim mode. I can't reach it.
It'll have to be through aim mode.
It'll have to be through aim mode.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. I got it. There it is. And it's got its own thing. Look at that. Beautiful.
We're coming back to interactions later, so just for the record.
So, if you look, watering now has a new, much less as well intrusive UI. That thing is blocked by something with the collision, and it's not getting watered. There we go. And then get watered. So if you look, the area around me has this very light mist around it, which shows like how far I can go, so I can't go past it. Essentially, this is my area. It used to be this huge dome that would go all the way to the sky, but you know what? I said that was too crazy, and we got rid of it.
Didn't you do that in like a flight of frustration though?
I did, because people,
Yeah.
people in the studio kept complaining about it. I was like, fine, I'll put you in a cage. And
He made this giant, ugly yellow cage, and we were like, absolutely not. But we did have that for a while.
So, just so that we don't have to sleep and then wait a long time, I'm gonna simulate the day passing for farming. So as you
No,
can
just
see,
go sleep, you lazy person.
Well,
it's
well,
like,
hold on,
it's not
this-
that far. It's not that far.
But you can
Go
see
sleep.
the seeds got changed into plants, and then it
Cheater.
just keeps on going like that. Very nice. Yeah, I did cheat. Oh, and the one up here, that one is nicely grown as well.
So I think what I will say in terms of like realism, we didn't make it so that crops have to go through multiple seasons. Could we have done it so that you plant strawberries in the spring and harvest them in the summer? Yeah, but I felt like that might be a little too punishing. So I think the longest growth cycle, and Laura, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the longest growth cycle is like 31 days. So there are a couple things that in real life do take freaking forever to grow. I think garlic is one of them, can take like 3 months. So there are a few that you kind of do have to go into another month in order to harvest it. But I tried not to be too mean. So the other exception I think is going to be trees. The trees do take quite a while to grow. But once they're established, they're going to give you fruit forever. So you'll get your return. So there was a question asked in the Discord. Somebody said, are we going to be able to stay farmers? Because a lot of other farm sim indies are going the route that you aren't a farmer, you're like an artisan good dealer instead. And so literally the whole point is growing the crops to make the stuff that you then sell. So the answer really is yes and no. We wanted the system to be completely customizable to literally whatever you want. So if you want to just have farm animals and raise farm animals and sell their goods as they come, you know, eggs or cheese or eggs or milk or was it wool, you can do that. You can also sell the animals back to Gabe, and we're not going to talk about what Gabe does with them after that.
That's a very good point. Yes, no, we're not.
So, because we have pigs, but we decided not to go the truffle route because, frankly, that just makes no sense. So, pigs are the one thing that you can have them and you can raise them, and then you just have them, or you can sell them for money, and we're not going to think about why you're selling your pigs back to Gabe. Or you can just be a farmer and you can just focus on one type of crop if you want to, or you can focus on growing seeds, or you can be a cheese maker, or you could be a soy sauce maker, or you can be a brewer, or kind of whatever you want. We didn't really want the game to be about maximizing the economy. It's about doing what makes you happy to pass your time and to make sure that you're sustainable so that you can keep going and do the things that you want to do, like go on hangouts, which is really what we want you to be doing with your time. So that's why it's not just a farm game, it's a JRPG farm sim. It's more like a life sim, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, SunnySide is much more of a life sim. And, you know, we constantly do remind ourselves that most people are going to play this game. And, like, I mean, most people, myself included, just for the social aspect. Just for the NPCs, being able to go out on dates or hangouts and events like that with them. So, you know, we are putting a lot of focus on that. There are so much variety on that. To be absolutely honest with you guys, next month we are trying to finish as much of it as possible. So we will have a, again, social focused stream at some point, just like we did with farming. But if we don't have anything else to talk about through farming, how about we do some of the social now? Maybe we
time
show
is now.
everybody some.
Well, I want to see if anybody has any
changes.
questions.
Actually,
first.
yeah. Let's do the questions.
Yeah, let's.
I think
so
Evelyn asked the question
wrap
that
it
we.
up.
It's a simple question, but it's a silly question. But
What?
you know what? We haven't decided yet. We could do that, but we haven't.
Watering animals.
Sydney wants to do it. I think it's very unnecessary, but it's a small detail that is nice.
Yeah, but how many
I
things have you put in the game that were totally unnecessary?
Okay, fine. I mean, we're literally looking at a super unnecessary system called
Exactly.
Zen mode.
Yeah. So.
Okay, fine.
I think. Yes. How hard am I gonna fight for it? I'm gonna fight harder to be able to cuddle with your animals, to be honest, than watering them. But if we have time, when we're in the animal system, maybe we'll mess around with it.
And Doc, you're absolutely right.
see.
We are incredibly lucky to have him. The music is fantastic, and you guys are getting some like sneak peeks really at this point of like all the new music because I can't do anything about it. But this person went and saw Matt live.
I did. It
Yeah.
was fun. So for anybody who doesn't know, Matt has
and I need to go grab something to show.
Let me be clear about that. Matt is in a band. It is a Beach Boys cover band called Sail On, a Beach Boys tribute. And so Matt doesn't live in Texas, but he came to Texas for a show. And so Kevin and I drove up to Dallas to go see him, and it was a lot of fun. And Matt sent us some CDs of his Jelly Fox CD, which, if you're not listening to the Jelly Fox album on Spotify, what are you doing with your life? Go listen to it. It's amazing. So we drove up there. We got to hang out with Matt and check out his show, and it was a lot of fun. If you are interested in going to one of Matt's shows, I know he tours the U.S. If you're in the U.S., just Google Sail on a Beach Boys tribute band, and you can find their schedule and stuff. And I don't know, go give Matt some love. Their whole group is awesome. Actually, another person in the band, his name's Wyatt. He did all the mastering for our whole soundtrack. Mastering, mixing.
Mixing. Well, they're
mixing.
separate. But
I think Wyatt was
we had
mixing.
To do both. Yeah, I think
was
so.
Wyatt mixing? I think Wyatt was mixing, and then Justin was mastering. I can't keep these people straight. I'm sorry, guys. He did important stuff, and so it was cool to get to meet him and all that stuff. Yes, they do cover Kokomo, and it was my favorite moment. It was fantastic. It wasn't at the House of Blues. No, it was at the Wildflower Festival in Richmond, just outside of Dallas. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. If you can go see a Matt show, a Sail-On show, go do it. It was a good time. And they're long. It was like a 70-minute set. It was huge.
Oh, damn.
But anyway, so I want to wrap up the farming aspect of stuff. So, does anybody have any questions about the farm system, about some decisions that we've made? Is there something maybe we didn't talk about that you're curious about? Feel free to put a question in the chat. If you want to go drop it in the Discord, I'm literally staring at it right here too. No, it was Richmond. I know a lot of people in here actually live in Dallas, so. But yeah, farm questions. Focused. Trying to see if I have my. I did buy some CDs from their group because.
You just gotta have to.
But they're over there. I don't want to go get up. Huh?
You just have to, man. Buy the CDs.
Have to what? Oh yeah, you have to.
You just have to.
Once a seed packet is opened, are seeds and unopened seed packs going to take up separate inventory slots? That is a great question. When you open up the seed packet, the packet itself will disappear, and the seeds will stack in your inventory.
But if you have more packs, yes, they will take up separate spaces because they're separate items inherently.
Is cuddling cows still planned? Planned? No. Am I fighting for it? Yes. I won't have an answer probably literally until like the last week of development. For fertilizing crops. Oh, I knew someone was going to ask about fertilizing. So going to be a system of different kinds of fertilizer. We're going to be able to make our own. Yes, there will be the ability to make your own fertilizer. Yes, there will be. Yeah, there already is. There will be a few different types of fertilizer that you can use. However, everything that you know about fertilizer from other games, out the window. That's all I can really say.
So fertilizing is one part. It's one of those systems that we not going to talk about today. And I said,
yeah, because we haven't finished it.
We haven't finished it.
That's the primary reason.
And another one, since we said fertilizer, the other system that we didn't want to talk about today, and it is a huge part of farming, is automation.
Watering.
Yeah,
automation and watering.
Automation and stuff. So, yeah. Rainy, please.
That's a good one. How long is an in-game day? We actually just figured this out the other day. Rainy, do you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, actually, this is a huge announcement, I feel like.
Yeah, it is.
We decided to allow you guys to change the speed at which the game progresses through a day. And the difference, essentially, you are going to get a menu, and it is going to be real-life minutes to a day. So you get to choose if a day you want should take between 15 minutes all the way up to 45 minutes. Was it 45 or 35? I'm not sure.
I think it was 35.
35 minutes. Between 15 to 35 minutes. So you can change how fast the game moves. Obviously, there's a limit, the 15-minute, because if the day moves on too fast, some events won't have time to take place.
Yeah.
But we will let you change the speed at which the game progresses. So there you go. We actually...
It was a huge issue before because there were a lot of things that were tied to time of day.
Mm-hmm.
But we've gotten rid of all of that. So there's literally no reason anymore to not allow you to do it.
And the quests that we have in the game, actually, this is another thing that is interesting for you guys. Obviously increasing, seeing friendship events and all that stuff, and launching quests, none of that is connected to an NPC that you have to talk to. So if you want to initiate a quest with an NPC or go on a hangout with them, you don't have to go find them in the world. Hangout system and romance system is handled through texting, so you can just text them from anywhere. Actually, not from anywhere. You have to be in SunnySide or Higashi.
You have to be in SunnySide.
Can't be in the caves. You don't have reception.
Literally, that's
the reason.
You don't have reception. Yeah.
And if you want to launch quests, most of them are either connected to a place that you just walk up to during a very specific time, or again, it's a text message or something like that. And actually, recently, one of the biggest tasks that I overtook, and one of the reasons we changed the way the angle of the map looks, is because we added waypoints to the game. So all of the quests are going to have waypoints now, except for a few which intentionally we decided not to give you waypoints to keep it interesting. You have waypoints on the map and you can find your way around much easier. But going back to the length of day, there's another system that we actually are going to talk about today because we didn't really decide to put it in this stream. We have essentially added a lot of changes that you can impose on the game and how it works. So you can essentially customize most of the aspects of the game within how you want to play it. We will go into a lot more depth with it.
I know you want to talk about it, so I'll give a few things. So I'm not going to let him talk about it, but I'll talk about some of the stuff. So, because now we're talking about game settings and stuff, but this kind of also goes back to farming, so I'm okay with discussing it. So Rainy and I, throughout development, have had a lot of arguments about, is this a cozy game? Is it a JRPG? Is it a cozy game? Is it a JRPG? Because we want to be both, but there are some things in JRPGs that inherently go against the cozy feel, and vice versa. So, especially if we have battle in the game, how do we balance that with also having it feel like it's a cozy thing that you can just explore and have fun with? So, what we decided to do was let you choose. Because Rainy and I could not agree on what we thought everybody was going to want. Are they going to want difficult battle? Are they going to want a laid-back, relaxed experience? What if people want both, but we don't want to alienate the people who don't want both? So it was like, how are we going to do this? So basically what we did, is
Should I
we
even show
broke
the UI? You're
down.
pretty much explaining the
No,
whole system.
no, don't show the UI. We basically broke down some key mechanics in the game, the battle system, the plant system, some interactions, things like that. And you basically have an option within each mode. And we have some kind of pre-made ones that you can do. So you can do,
Presets.
this is a battle focus run. That's a preset. This is a cozy farm sim preset. Or you can customize it yourself. So you can go through each mechanic and say, I want this kind of an experience versus this other kind of experience.
And
I want this part to be hard, but this part to be cozy. You can kind of decide what you want.
You essentially, we gave you the option of cozy or RPG. And like Sydney said, you can choose to have a full cozy game. So all of those settings, and I give you guys like 2 examples so you know exactly what we're talking about. For instance, economy of the game. In cozy mode, the economy is easier. You make more money. You sell things for a higher price. In RPG, that's not the case. Everything is more difficult to do. In cozy mode, battle is a lot quicker. You deal a lot more damage. There are way less enemies to deal with, and enemies don't respawn when you kill them, when you like come back later. But like in RPG mode, all of that stuff is flipped. So you can choose either full cozy, full RPG, or you can customize aspects. If you want cozy fighting, it's kind of a funny sentence to say. If you want cozy battle system, but an RPG economy, you can also customize that however you like. And you asked if we can change the speed of the day at any time in the game. I think so. I think we can allow that until there's a restriction.
We haven't fully implemented it yet.
Yeah, we haven't fully implemented it yet.
But in terms of changing the difficulty setting at any time, the answer is yes, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going through RPG mode and you're like, I don't like this, I'd rather have cozy mode, flip back.
Yeah. Some settings, if you change them, though, you would have to go back to a save because they fundamentally change how the system works. Yeah. And we have fully implemented it, but we'll show it to you guys in a different stream.
Yeah.
It looks
because we weren't going to talk about that, but Rainy got really excited. So
anyway, let's go into an NPC deep dive with two NPCs. How about we start with Sako?
I want to make sure real quick that
everybody's done.
People are ready for the next thing.
Okay.
Make sure that we've answered questions. Oh, Doc had a question about the crop grid on the farm. You and we've never confirmed this. I want to talk about the grid for planting.
Yeah.
Will they be able to rotate that grid?
Currently, no.
Yeah. I keep asking for it, but I know there's programming limitation. If we don't implement it, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, I actually haven't looked into it, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah. So you can rotate each individual plot, like you can, but right? Can you still rotate the plots?
No, not at the moment.
Oh, you can't do that anymore. Yeah, so everything's on the grid. So you'd have to rotate the entire grid. Mm-hmm. So we'll look into it. It's something that I think is really important. It'll be a matter of whether or not we have time. I know we're coming back to farming again later, a little bit. So maybe, but I can neither confirm nor deny whether or not that will be.
We're on that. Don't worry. I think that's the main reason Sydney doesn't want us to show it, actually. Because we definitely... the fact that we...
Oh, that's exactly why. Yep.
Yeah, we gotta advertise this. Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, the idea came from us wanting to do a lot of accessibility options. Because, that's a big discussion these days in games industry. And there are some games that do a fantastic job in it, making the game more accessible. And when I say accessibility, I don't mean that people with able-bodied versus the ones that aren't. I just mean people who don't want to deal with certain aspects of the game or don't have time. Like somebody comes from work, wants to enjoy the game, and they really don't want to deal with some aspect of the game. It's still accessibility because you're still making the game more accessible to those kind of people who don't have the time. So the discussion came from accessibility, and then it got into this big discussion actually about battle, like Sydney said, that some people really don't want to deal with this. Some people just want to farm. So we should make it much,
I don't want to deal with
simpler.
it.
Yeah.
But I do still, and the reason it came about is because what I really hate, and this was kind of the core root of our decision, is what I really hate is if I go to play a game, sorry for calling out games, but like Horizon Zero Dawn, great game, love the story. But my problem with playing that is I want to play it in like story mode where I'm just going through the story. But what they do in order to establish that is they take the base game and they just remove enemies in combat. And so when you do combat, it feels really off because you can tell that stuff is missing that was there originally. And it doesn't, like, you don't get that overwhelmingness from things that are really hectic, and it just feels kind of weird. So what we wanted it to be was we didn't want cozy mode to be the absence of battle. We wanted it to be just a choice that you're making. I also, like, I don't know if I'm the only person, but when you go into that settings menu and it's like normal and then hard and epic or whatever, and then it's like story mode, it makes me feel like a crap gamer. Like I have bad interests, that I'm not interested in min-maxing. It's really patronizing and I don't like it. So that was kind of why we went the route that we went, is we didn't want the decision that you make for your gameplay style to be patronizing.
Sydney
just have fun, whatever you want to.
Sydney wrote everything, and she worded them in a very specific way. Like there is nothing that says, "Oh, economy is easy." No, it just says that the for instance, economy is in normal mode, or economy is more complex. Like stuff that doesn't make you feel bad about choosing that point. Yeah.
So I think that's it for farming and stuff. I think we got all the questions.
Yep.
If I miss anything, let me know. I think I missed some things. Different saves, yes. Marketing, yes. Yes. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Rin, do you want normal mode or do you want the baby mode? Do you want the mode for kids who...
It's like literally what we did is the opposite of what you see in Doom and Wolfenstein. That it shows you like, oh, like I want my mommy is like the easy difficulty, and then
it's so patronizing.
Bring it on is like I suppose it works for that kind of game, but not.
Yeah, but the thing is there's more to video game, and we're getting into like podcast territory here, but there's more to video games than killing things. Like there's more to video games than min-maxing and being the best. Yes, you do have competitive stuff, but some people in cozy games just want to have something to escape to, and there's nothing wrong with that, and we want to reward that rather than, like, neither one is correct. It's just different strokes for different folks, I guess. So anyway, yes, let's talk about Sako. So we wanted to do some deep dives into some NPCs, and yeah, let's do it.
I don't know what happened to my chat, but I think it just jumped up and I lost a bunch of chat. But just a quick question that Evelyn asked. Yes, you will have a frame limiter. You can change stuff. That will be the graphic settings, though.
Yeah, graphic settings.
Right. Well, I mean, so essentially what we wanted to do, the main thing that we wanted to do is that we wanted to show you guys the progress that the team has made since our first run with the influencer alpha, as well as the alpha that you all played. That how the houses look, because we did it a few times. We did it with the research center and some other places in the map, but we wanted to literally go into the houses of the NPCs and show you guys that how they look, because shops now. Yeah, only shops,
not house, shops.
So we're not going to the second floor of Sako's already?
No.
Oh man.
Maybe the second floor. Well, yeah, we can do second floor too, but mostly it's the shops.
Mostly it's the shops. Because one of the biggest criticisms that we got during alpha was that the interiors of buildings look so bare. So we want to show that we
haven't gotten there yet.
We're working on it, okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to go into engine. So you take it away.
I want to show what they looked like during alpha.
Oh, good point. So I grabbed a video from a lovely one of our lovely influencers, Josh, and he actually, I never noticed that he changed his YouTube name. His name on YouTube is now Josh's Gaming Garden. So go follow him. Thank you for doing a video on SunnySide, and thank you, Doc, as well. I should mention it always because You made the first video on us, but anyway. So we'll
Hmm.
go to the window. So this is heroes, which we're going to talk about, but actually we're going to start with Sako. So let me see when Josh goes to Sako's.
I
You
gave you links for both.
you did, but you didn't time
Should go right to the
like
time. It should go right to the timestamp.
it doesn't have the timestamp on him.
Oh, son of a biscuit!
You missed the timestamp.
Ah. Okay. Sako's is before Heroes.
Yeah, I mean, I imagined so. Oh God, man,
I know, Rin. That's what
game
we thought, and people still complained.
the game looks so scuffed
It
compared
does.
to now.
Yeah, it does. This was so. Just to be clear, the reason I grabbed this video is because it was the most recent one. That was it. It was just the first one that I found. So nothing against Pat, nothing against Doc. Love you both. It's just your videos were older. Sorry.
Yeah. If you look at the first video Doc made from like Kickstarter footage, God,
Dude,
that is
yeah,
so much older.
rough.
I can't see when he goes to Sako. Does he ever go to Sako?
He does.
Are you sure about that?
I'm 90% positive because I thought I timestamped it. There, yeah, it's definitely.
This
Yeah,
is when
I
he
think it
goes
was
to
on day
Gabe's.
one. I think it's on day one. It's before Gabe's, I think.
Before Gabe's.
I think so.
No, it wouldn't be. Yeah, because he wouldn't have gotten the tutorial panels.
Am I gonna have to go find it for you?
Maybe.
Goodness.
Wait. Okay, so he goes past Sako's. There he is. Literally
It
past
is.
Sako's
Did you
into
click
Heroes.
on the link?
I did. Wait.
Because the link goes to the timestamp. Unless I did the same one for both of them. Oh, I think I did.
You did.
Son of a bitch.
Anyway, we'll talk about Hero then.
I found it.
Okay, well,
It's at like 2015-ish.
in the same video.
Yep.
2015.
20. It's like 1930 to like 2015-ish.
Well, it's not this video then. It's a different. Oh no, never mind. Right. So you see Sako's interior. It's pretty bare. We have some products over there, but I mean the layout is there, but not much inside, as you can see. So now let us move to Sako's in the engine. This is the Unreal Engine of choice for us that I'm gonna go to, and I'm also going to turn on something very interesting. We have something called seasonal overlays. So essentially, every season in SunnySide, we load up an entire map that has decorations inside of it that goes all around town. So
it gets overlaid on top of the old map.
Yeah.
Not the old map, the base map.
The base map, yeah. So yeah, we have completely different looks. I mean, maybe not that much in some places, but we have different looks for the town every season, so that things look different. So I'm gonna fly over quickly.
Can you like not fly over certain things?
No, I was quick. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
And look at
Quick.
Sako's.
You know that pause exists on YouTube, right?
Does it? I don't know what you're talking
People
about.
can pause the video.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so let's start by looking at the exterior of the place. And I mean, we can really go and compare it here quickly. Like how it looked in the past and how it looks now. I mean, the actual building itself is completely changed. Ken remodeled it, essentially added a whole section to it. But, and I mean, at night especially, this place looks absolutely beautiful. It looks so cool at night.
Yeah, so the issue really with Sako's was it was just way too small. Because Rainy modeled it. No, Rainy did a great job, but the issue really with the model was that he was kind of going for like Tokyo style.
Yeah.
And it for a video game, it was too hard to navigate inside, and it didn't really take into consideration the fact that the player would be going into Sako's home. And which ended up being way too small. It was hard to get up there. It was difficult to navigate. So we ended up, Ken and I kind of got together and redid the building.
Yeah, so
and then Laura came along.
Yeah, go ahead.
And no, I was just saying Laura came along and just blew it out of the water with decoration.
Yeah.
It is so incredible in comparison
Really.
to what it looked like. Just an awesome job. And it looks how I had pictured it would look. And I'm just ignore all the things that say text block because we still have to go through and like label everything.
Yep.
But yeah, it's so awesome. Yeah, they're organized by text block. Yep.
And this is only the autumn map specifically,
Yeah.
because like if I turn off the autumn map, you can see that a
Yeah.
lot of these overlays go away, because
Yeah,
these
the
would
seasons
be
aren't all done yet.
this would be the seasonal decoration for Sarkos. And those will change. I mean, obviously the crops would change, the flowers would change for each season, so that would change. And then if we go through the back, we are doing that, right?
Yeah, go for it.
This is actually her house that I hadn't considered for whatever reason. So
Because the thing is I try to we want to be as true to Japan as we possibly can. So I wanted the shops to look like how they might actually look in Japan. We had to take into consideration things like, where shop faces are in comparison to like the fronts of homes and how they might be connected and things like that. So we kind of had to put together a back room that didn't have before and so but yeah.
and
I almost said
Soko-
something that we haven't talked about yet, so I had to like stop myself.
I do that all the time. Welcome to my
Yeah.
world. So Sako has a crazy personality where she grabs anything and everything that she can find from places that she might find
Just a
interesting.
little eclectic.
So this is totally intentional and her style, with all the mismatching chairs, because she doesn't care. It looks cool. And it's hers. So yeah. Shout out to the absolutely fantastic team that put this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sako's place looks
Killed
amazing.
it.
And let's have a look, actually, a quicker look, I promise, during night, because, it wouldn't do it justice if we don't actually have a look at night. Because these are especially cool looking at night.
All the lights and stuff, yeah.
All the lighting. So lighting has been done in most places as well by the team now, and it just looks incredible. Yeah. Liz made these new lights, and I think it contrasts the more like bluish lights that I had really well, because these are a lot more yellow. And yeah, the lighting has been done really nicely.
We're still going to do a final, like, what we call a textures pass, where we're going to go through and make sure that all of the colors and like actual texture of everything is all more cohesive. So there are things that are a little janky looking or stands out, doesn't quite fit the art style. That's planned. We're still going to go through it, but give you guys kind of a nice idea of something that's a little bit more polished, not fully polished, but more polished, and what it looks like. I think the only thing I want to say is, Laura, I'm going to do some production stuff here. Laura, since I know you're here, the lanterns, can we have them just go all the way across? It just looks kind of funny.
No,
but
that's not her fault.
Why?
These probably are some of the oldest assets that are still in the game.
I know.
And
I know, and they're
spaced.
I put them there.
No, I know, but like you can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
They're spaced in a very specific way.
No, I know, but she can. I put them there. I know that she can do it.
Okay, fine.
Can you just duplicate one of them and just spread them out a little? She knows what I'm talking about.
But I want to remodel these. They look horrible. Fine. Anyway.
Or honestly, Laura, use the new ones if you want. That's fine too.
So recently, talking about Sako, recently, and by recently I mean very recently, Sydney pretty much finished the final passes over Sako's story. So
no, don't say that. No, I'm still writing it. Please don't say that.
Still writing it. Okay, well,
I'm still writing it. No.
The reason I said that is because I wanted you to give us some more background about,
Oh, right. Okay, I can do that. Yeah. But I was like, final passes. No, I'm still writing something. But yeah, I have been. We just kind of want to talk about like her personality and stuff a little bit, which Rainy already touched on. She's the eclectic one. She's kind of your fun old lady, and I feel like we have talked about her in the past, so I don't want to go too much into it. But the thing that is fun about Sako is really what her inspiration was, which I know I've talked about on stream before. Um, for anybody in the US who's familiar with it, her inspiration was the Red Hat Society, which is a group for older women who want something fun to do and friends to hang out with, and they get together and they wear big red hats and purple clothes and they go out and have like dinner and stuff. And it's just kind of that like vitality for life that I wanted her to represent. That's why her clothing is mostly red and her hair is purple. If we kind of flip the colors, I didn't want to be too obvious. But that's, she's a widow. Her husband passed away a few years ago. She doesn't have any kids. So stop kicking whatever you're kicking. Sorry. That's me. I'm fidgety. But yeah, so Sako's, just kind of on her own, doing her own thing. She's running the shop, and she's kind of the juxtaposition to Kazuki, who is like the grumpy old man. Sako is the fun older woman. So the two of them, like, they live across the street from each other, so you can kind of go get like both sides of the story. And yeah, she's fun. I like Sako, and she's been fun to write, which you guys will see eventually when we get her story and engine and stuff. But yeah. Oh, you put up all her outfits.
I put up the Council of Sakos, yeah.
The Council of Sakos.
So the next place that we want to have a look at, we decided the second NPC that we talk about today should be Hero.
Yep.
So let's go to
also across the street.
Tech Hero. But before we do that, let's quickly look at how it looked at Josh's game ages ago.
Yeah, ages ago.
So this is the place. I mean, literally 1 year ago. This is what it looked like, much smaller, as you can see again.
Yeah.
Hero's building also got an extension, but you can see the interior of how it looks like. And God, we had that old model too. And I mean, some of you guys, some of the super faithful fans of ours know that he used to charge in that room. That was his charging spot.
His charging room.
That had nothing in it. That was just an empty room. But this was essentially the gist.
It was his charging station.
Now you can see it's much bigger. And let me actually load it up, because I actually haven't got the interior loaded up. People are gonna be like, "Oh, this looks even worse."
Yeah, it's terrible.
Do you know what map his interior is like connected to?
Laura will know.
Clinic?
I don't know. It might be Clinic.
Clinic. It's loaded up. It's not Clinic.
Town Hall.
Town Hall probably. So, I mean, again, if you're into game dev, you know that you separate these decorations into separate maps, so you can only load the one that you need at the time that you need it. It's not Town Hall either. Huh.
Is it? Oh, it's just Tech Hero. There's Tech Hero map.
There's a Tech Hero map? Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, remember we had to make maps for every store.
Well, we didn't finish it.
Laura, guys.
I reverted everything, okay? Alright. Are you sure about that?
No.
Technical difficulties, hold on. No, we don't have a Tech Hero. I knew we don't have a Tech Hero.
We lose a map?
Yeah, look. No Tech Hero. Tech Hero. You
said try post office. That's a weird one.
Post office. Oh, probably.
That's odd.
You know, I did separate it, but when we reverted everything, it went back. Tech Hero. Are you gonna just suddenly show up?
Open all of them.
Oh god, I'm streaming. Hey, there it is. You're right.
It was on post office. That makes no sense.
It was post office. All right. So, first of all, again, the exterior looking absolutely gorgeous. But also, again, showing it at night really does this one really well, because I love all the lights around the trees and stuff. Especially this one tree here. It looks pretty cool. And then we have his sign, and then the bit where you would recycle. We had that in the alpha. So if we go inside now, this is what Tech Hero looks like. So he sells some stuff here. He sells a lot of laptops and PCs and monitors. So yeah, if you're in for a new PC, you can go to him. He even has some ring lights over there. And Laura, I
And
noticed that you use the spline system to give him some of these TikTok-esque, um, RGB lights around his stool. Good job. What were you gonna say, Sid?
I was just gonna say, I think he also has cat ear headphones.
Oh, he does, yeah. I think he has one left though, by the looks of it.
He has one. Yeah, just one. It was
Just
hard
one.
to get his hands on.
It was
He can only get one to sell.
But this is what it looked like, and you guys have seen that back behind that door was just an empty room earlier, and Josh tries to go in. It's just nothing. So now, obviously, he has a house as well.
Yeah.
If we go back here, again, much bigger area.
Which I want to point out, this is actually the reason that we ended up redoing Tech Hero building and Sako's building, is because when Rainy modeled Tech Hero,
There was no room.
he did not factor in where Hero was going to live, or what all that space above it was going to be. So it was just kind of nothing, and it was not possible to navigate, and we couldn't retrofit it. So Ken had to just completely remodel it. And he did a great job. Good job, Ken.
I like his roof, like ceiling window. It's pretty cool. This is where he does all of his crazy stuff. This is electronic projects. And then a nice...
Very minimalist. Yeah, so a little bit about Hero, which, I mean, most of you guys, you guys know Hero at this point, but a little bit more about his personality and stuff. He's very quiet. He's a minimalist. He's very thrifty. So he doesn't have a lot of stuff, or stuff that he does have, is kind of very basic or minimalistic. He's got a lot of tech junk because that's what he does. But he has a really interesting story, so I don't want to talk too much about it because I feel like it's one of the better ones. Yeah, his is a really good story. And the one thing I do want to kind of talk about with the story, and I don't want to give too much away, but the way that I wrote them, the way that we planned them, is that there's kind of a few main stories that are happening, and then there are more like, not side stories, but they're like complementary. So we've kind of like took some NPCs and grouped them together. And there's one story that's happening between like those three NPCs. So when you go on hangouts with them, you're going to get the same story, but like from three different perspectives, which I think makes the whole thing a lot more interesting and a lot more fun to navigate. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a sneak in terms of Heroes. So Heroes' story is actually a group of 4 that are all happening together. And it's Hero and, can I say, yeah, it's Hero and Kazuki. Their stories are kind of wrapped up together, which doesn't really make a lot of sense until you actually get into it and you start playing it. And then there are 2 others that are wrapped in there that I'm not going to talk about. But yeah, I think it makes it, I don't know, it makes it feel like stuff is happening around you instead of like this person just has their little life.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hero's rich to have so much desk space.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, it's his house, so
he has so much more desk space than I have. So yeah. I aspire to have a house like Heroes one day.
Did he have a Roomba in there? He shouldn't have a Roomba. Hero would never waste money on a Roomba unless he got it secondhand and fixed it up himself.
Quite literally.
Yeah. Yeah, he like sleeps under the stairs. He's like not an extravagant guy at all.
So, yeah, happy to answer any questions, but we essentially wanted to show you guys a little bit of an update on how the interiors look. Are we gonna go through any more of these in the future stream, Sydney?
Maybe. I think it's kind of fun to like give people a perspective on like, what's been going on and how they work. And I'm not looking at the screen. So I don't know if people want to see it. We also don't want to like ruin marketing because that's always a
Yes,
constant
true.
concern
That's
for
a
us.
huge part of
So,
this. Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
we um we're gonna go through some business stuff, I believe. But before we talk about that, well, not necessarily business stuff, like what the studio is gonna be doing. Essentially, if this was present, we're gonna be talking about future. But if you guys have any questions, drop them now.
questions.
I'm gonna go
I
by the
really
promo
liked with
again.
Hero and Sokka that we could kind of show you guys like here's how it was in the alpha, and then here's like all the updates that have been made. Here's what it looks like now.
Hmm.
Evelyn, that sounds like the easiest thing, but it would actually be so complicated.
Yep. It's like that meme. I don't know if you guys have seen that meme, but there's a meme that was like, "Oh, can I have this monster appear in an explosion, smoke, and everything?" And then, yeah, it's easy. We can do that. And then it's like,
Oh, right.
can we have a character wear a coat? Nope.
Scarf. It was a
It was
scarf.
a scarf. Yeah.
Scarf. Nope, no scarves.
Yeah. Did you guys take any
Did we
inspiration from Shenmue? Ah, okay. I
actually? No.
So for design, no. But
Mm-mm.
for the direction of having a town like this that is open and you have activities that you can do in it, like interact with the stuff in town,
Kind of.
absolutely, I would say.
I what Shenmue, or was it more
It was more
um
Yakuza,
it was Yakuza, it
to be
wasn't
fair,
Shenmue. It was Yakuza.
but Shenmue as well to a degree. So
Yeah.
Shenmue very little, Persona a lot,
Very much.
Yakuza
Yeah.
like 50%. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of actually making the town, the overall town, um the inspiration for it was the story specifically. So what it was here's the story that we want to tell. Here's this town. It's in kind of off the beaten path. It's been neglected over the years. People are leaving. It's not, this bustling town. Um, so how do we take this town and put it into Japan and have it make sense? And so we had to then tie it to Japanese history. So it's a post town. It's also been around for, centuries. So how do we show that and make it be realistic and not pandering? If you want to have a town in Japan that's been around for a few centuries and you want to pander to the fact that it's in Japan, then yeah, you go balls to the wall and you make it look like a cute little Japanese town with traditional architecture and all that stuff. However, those towns in Japan are few and very far between, and they have a lot of tourism that supports them. Those towns don't really exist anymore. So I want to talk about that. And those towns that didn't um secure their architecture and lean into tourism, what happened to them? And that's what the story for Sunnyside is. So there is architecture from the Edo period. There's architecture from before the World War II. There's architecture from after World War II. There's architecture from the 90s. There's modern stuff. And there's like everything in between because it shows the longevity of the town. So I know that was a really weird tangent, but it's not like when you play Shenmue or you play Yakuza, you see that stuff because they're leaning really heavily into the Japanese aspect of it, and that was something that I just didn't want to do. I wanted to lean into the realism of it. So, Sunnyside really is inspired by Sunnyside, and the gameplay mechanics, 100% Persona, Shenmue, Yakuza, the
Mm.
mini games, the interactability, the all that stuff, yes, but like the layout, the design, the decoration, it's just Sunnyside. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And then
Town Night
yeah, go ahead.
actually, uh, that's great that you get serious
Yeah.
Shenmue vibes. That's such a huge compliment. Thank you. But I actually haven't played a Shenmue game. I studied it more
Yeah.
than play it. But personally, I get huge Persona 4
Yeah.
night vibes when I walk through town at night. But Doctor Didop, and Laura answered you, But yeah, that's the thing. I
Yeah,
mean, I literally showed you. This
he's
is
showing the pumpkins.
this is Blake's house, and then this is the decoration that she will have during autumn.
Autumn.
And again, is it a fictional town? It is a fictional town,
Yeah,
but we did pick kind of an area, and the area is Hokkaido.
yeah.
And
Well,
the
kind of.
kind of Hokkaido,
So
but the sun angle is
Higashi
Hokkaido.
Higashi specifically is a town in Hokkaido, but in terms of SunnySide, um, yes, it's fictional. However, it is really heavily inspired by a mixture of about 3 or 4 towns in Japan. So there's and you can ask the team this. I kind of gave them like, here are traditional architecture towns that have maintained that style since the Edo period. Here's where you can pull from. And then there are other towns in Hokkaido. That's primarily where we tried to stick with, was Hokkaido, because of the type and the village feel. We didn't want to be pulling architecture from Tokyo. It wouldn't make sense.
Mm.
But like the layout of it and like the history and stuff, there are a couple towns in Japan that everybody's left, and it's just like a population of like 50 elderly people, and it's a real problem in Japan, where people have left the villages and they've moved to the cities. It's starting to get reversed because of COVID, but it's a problem. They're aging society and all that. So one of the main ones I pulled from, I don't remember the names of a lot of these towns, so I'm going to apologize in advance, but there's a town in Japan where basically people were lonely, and one of the women started making life-size like dolls to like
Yeah.
populate the town with. And you can actually see them on like Google Maps. You can go like tour this town, and there's life-size dolls. Like, there are more dolls than people in this entire town. There's another town where there were like maybe 40, 50 people living there, and a guy from Germany moved in, and he was an architect, and he really liked the architecture of like that time period of Edo Japan. So he went through and started retrofitting all of the falling apart houses with original classic architecture and like style, and like brought in special crews to like rebuild this town with old school building techniques. I
Mm.
think I shared that video with you guys. So that was kind of a big inspiration, and like that mentality of kind of rejuvenating a town. So yes, it's inspired by real towns, but no, it's a fictional place that we made up
I
because there's
wish we could show
robots.
Higashi. I wish we could. Not yet.
It's well,
So I have to
Laura will
taper
kill you.
my.
It's not done yet.
Oh yeah. Mm.
Laura will be mad. Not even me
Liz was
stopping you. It's Laura
actually
who's going to stop you now.
Liz was actually showing me some of the additions that she made alongside Laura together. That
Oh,
yeah, very different.
Laura's
Very
going to be
different.
mad.
Very
She
different
wanted to
looking.
showcase them at the next meeting. She wouldn't even let me go look at them.
Oh, there you go. Well, only the changes
Um,
that Liz has made. Nothing else.
what are you
It
guys
is
talking
looking
about? These
damn good though.
creepy smiles.
Okay, so you know what? You know what? Doc and Rin, I'm absolutely with you. I think Twitch has a much better emote game than YouTube does. I hate YouTube's emotes. Like, seriously. Like,
Yeah, they're bad.
we need to get better TTV or something like that running with YouTube. I think it does support YouTube now with our channel or something. Because it's incredibly bad. Anyway,
You guys.
so
I
what we
think
wanted to that's it.
it.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
pretty much it. Yeah.
That is pretty much it. I'm
The
gonna
only
stop
things
this.
we wanted to say was keep your eyes peeled on your email inboxes for MVP stuff. I know it's something we've been saying for a while. I don't have dates or anything confirmed, but
Mm-hmm.
just, keep your eyes on your email inboxes. Make sure RainyGames is whitelisted. Make sure you don't miss stuff if it comes
And,
through.
and essentially, what's been happening is that we want MVP to be a portion of the game so that we can get one really good kind of feedback because one huge part of doing MVP is to just get a feel for what you guys think about the game in general. But we have so many systems in SunnySide that work together, which, you know,
Yeah.
I suppose you can say it's good game design that all the systems are connected in some way and make sense. But in terms of programming and implementation, it's hell, because when you want to change one thing, there are like 10 other
Yeah.
things that are connected to it. That was the big one that essentially didn't allow us to find a time. To be honest with you guys, we did come up with a few, like, I think a few months ago, we were like, oh, we can probably do an MVP next month, and then it didn't happen. Because we essentially want to do it well, because it's gonna happen like, you know, once or twice or something like that before we can release the game. So we want to
you
make sure
guys
that
get the most out of it.
you guys get the most out of it, and we also get the most out of it.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest reason. Sorry, I gotta mute my Telegram notifications. There we go. That's what that bleep
the other
was
thing was that you guys have seen that we've put up some music videos over the last few weeks. There's a cat making an appearance here. Those are going to keep coming out. They're not going to come out on any kind of regular set schedule, because I'm kind of testing the waters to see what works in terms of response, what days and times and stuff work for us. We tried doing the premiere thing for a little while, but it didn't really do much, and I don't think anybody got anything out of it. So we're nixing that. We also have to do it in a way where we can give it to our Patreon people a few days early. So, hey, Patreon, if you want to see our YouTube videos a little early.
And yeah,
but
just keep an
we're
eye.
gonna
It's
keep
gonna go all the way onto winter.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep putting them out. We're doing the seasonal themes. Some people figured that out on Discord. So the most recent one was summer days. So the next one's going to be summer nights, and then we're gonna keep going. And then after that, we're gonna do stuff with them that I cannot talk about yet. But
I fought for playing other tracks too, like Higashi Night, Higashi Day, or
that's next. Chill.
No, I know. Happen. But I'm glad it's gonna happen. So it is gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah. So
but I think the one thing that
keep looking at the music videos.
There's an area of music in SunnySide that we don't share, and it's everything to do with the caves. Yep. So
that'll be after release.
Yeah, it's like 30-40% of the whole soundtrack. So
yeah, guys,
it's gonna be exciting.
So keep checking out those YouTube videos. I normally would never say this, but please comment and stuff on them, because it helps us know that they're being received. And we'll keep doing them. If there's no engagement, then we're not gonna put a ton of effort into it. But if you guys engage with us with the music videos, then it lets us know that we're on the right track. So
as you guys know, we also have a whole marketing team with our lovely publisher Merge, and they are going to essentially go off of these metrics to see how successful an endeavor has been. So if you do actually enjoy them and you want more of them,
share them.
If you do interact with them, it essentially shows them that as well this is working, and there'll be more of it.
And the last thing,
please like, comment, and subscribe.
I want to talk was this.
Oh yeah, the reveal. You did the God, I don't want to get his name wrong, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm getting. Yeah, you did the Phil Spencer thing. So Phil Spencer in an Xbox show wanted to talk about the fact that Rare, the old Nintendo studio that Microsoft bought, was actually working with them. So he was wearing a hoodie, and then he just opened it up and it was a Rare thing, and then they announced it. So he did the same thing. Yes, we have RainyGames shirt. It's it's cool.
So
yeah,
soon. I'm not really gonna say anything because we're working on it. This is a sample. I'm still waiting on some samples. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to stand up earlier. I'm still waiting on some samples for stickers to come in. And I need to verify that the manufacturing process and logistics is good to you guys and nobody's going to get screwed. But this round is probably going to be kind of temporary. It's something we want to get out to you guys because people have been wanting it, but we need the time and money to like really do it right. So we're going through Teespring for now while I figure out the logistics to do it better and in a way that's more beneficial to us as a studio. But yeah.
And those stickers
soon.
aren't, as well as the shirts and everything,
It's
they're
all
not just
Rainy
going to
Games
be
merch.
It's all RainyGames merch.
Yeah.
So SunnySide, as you guys know, legally is a little bit more complicated because we have a publisher and all that stuff. But as far as RainyGames go, we can do whatever we want. So, but what I was going to get at is essentially, it's not just going to be logos and stuff. We're going to have much more interesting things coming up. And the stickers
I mean, you can show the sticker if you want. You can show it.
Where is it?
If you want to. Just don't like go through our drive on
I won't
stream.
go through
That's
the
all
drive on. No, I'm not doing that.
But it's in the drive.
Yeah. Okay. PR then.
Maybe I can send it to you.
But what I was gonna say is that essentially it's not just going to be logos. It's going to be art and stuff. Because at the end of the day, the artists that we have working on SunnySide work for RainyGames, and those amazing artists can produce art for RainyGames as well as SunnySide. Oh, there it is.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, I mean actually I opened it in your, and then there it is. Yeah. There you go. I'll put on Sydney's face. That's gonna be a sticker you guys can purchase. And yeah.
Yeah. I just gotta get the logistics worked out first. But he's
and a
cute.
small thing. RainyGames is now a registered trademark. Yay! Good job, Sydney. And Ben, legal.
And Ben. Yeah, I thought we had announced that, but yeah, so if you guys don't see it, actually I think we should have it like on the stream somewhere, I feel like. But yeah.
YouTube name and stuff to have the little yeah.
Yeah. So RainyGames is officially trademarked. We're working on SunnySide. I think we're in the last like month or so for SunnySide. But yeah, we're like official, guys. It took lots of time and effort and money, but we're getting there.
It happened. Anyways, the only thing that we wanted to also do is tomorrow is apparently it's a bank holiday over here in the UK. I'm not sure what it is in the UK, but I know in the States it is going to be Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, you don't. That's just my. Ignore that.
Go
that's
on
just
then.
Those were my tweets. Ignore
those
the tweets.
Those are your tweets. Okay.
Yeah,
well, happy
that.
Memorial Day anyway. And I hope everybody have a lovely bank holiday tomorrow. I think this is the only stream that we have that people don't have to like go to bed and go to work after. So
yeah, it's nice.
And look, more art. We showed this as actually on our Twitter. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, go do that. We are in Twitter right down here, twitter.com/playsunnyside. I'm sure you all follow us, but if you don't, go do it. You can,
unless you're boycotting Twitter, which is totally valid these days.
Which is totally valid. You know, Twitter is the only social media that I use these days, and only because SunnySide and all the great indie devs that I see on there, it's just too close to business that I can't ignore it. And you guys are again probably all on Discord, but you can go to discord.gg/SunnySide. We do have a Patreon as well, which is at RainyGames UK. Where you can get exclusive content and early access to a lot of stuff, including music videos and Developers Then podcast episodes. Speaking of podcasts, you can listen to it over on iTunes. It's on Google Podcasts, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, and it's on YouTube as well. The benefit of YouTube and Spotify is that it has a video, so you guys can see.
You get to see our dopey faces.
You get to see how good my lighting is against Sydney's. So, please go ahead and do that.
Dare you.
And yeah, thank you all so much for your support and love for SunnySide. We really appreciate it.
The benefit with the video and the podcast is there are cat appearances that happen.
True.
I'm just saying. I don't know if you guys are into that or not, or if that's how you judge what your content is going to be, but you know, if you're into cat and you like cat appearances, As
In
I'm
any
petting
case,
my cat over here on the side.
thank you all for hanging out with us. This video will be on YouTube under the live section where you can watch it again or go through the bits that you missed or share it with your friends that might be interested in SunnySide. And yeah, we will see you in the next stream. Have a great rest of your day and we will see you all later.
Bye, guys.